I think it was our first live town hall in person after, I guess, 2 years and a few months. So it was obviously very exciting and special. But yeah, it was a bit very very explosive town hall also, because we also, I guess I'll jump straight into that. That we decided that we'll be moving from work from home to work from office completely, with a few exceptions of people who really like new parents who don't have a choice but to take care of their children.
Yeah.
And it's just a few reasons, to be honest. There's a big debate in the world right now. Is work from home the new normal, which actually we all believed in for quite some time. But now what's
Yeah.
happening is there's a lot of like the other side of the story is also coming out. And we decided that we are not able to make it work, so we want to go back to full-time office, work from office, and then eventually see if it makes sense to come back to the hybrid model or something. But as of now, I think there is like there are a few reasons why it didn't work for us. The first of all, the biggest reason is, right now there's just too much confusion in all teams, right? So everybody, generally, like, people would ask, so let's say if there is a meeting, at that point everybody is just scrambling to understand who's remote, who's in person, and who's coming, who's not. So it's just very very confusing. And people mentioned, a lot of people mentioned to HR that sometimes they think, they wake up and they try to think, okay, is the other person coming, should I go to the office, I want to go to the office, but like, there's a lot of confusion in people's minds, right? So when there is a lot of choice, there's a lot of confusion. And I think that was the first factor. Number two, what we realized was, with new people, right, especially people who were joining their first jobs, it was very very difficult for them to learn new stuff, right? It's just like, they come into an office, they don't know who to speak for help, who to kind of go to for whatever, really. And it became very difficult for them to just get inculcated and get in sync with the organization.
Yeah, so there's a
So
gap somewhere.
yeah, I think I guess you can always do it, like, and there are a lot of counter arguments to everything, that you can do everything remotely. But the fact,
Yeah.
I actually just an hour ago I was playing, and I met an engineer who works on an oil rig remotely, sitting in Dubai, but the oil rig is in Iraq, right? And I was super astonished. So yes, everything can be done, but the reality is, people are going back to universities. 2 years ago, we were thinking that universities are dead, right? But today, universities have highest enrollments ever, like, in last how many years. So, and same thing, travel is coming back with a vengeance. Business travel is growing like anything. We are meeting clients. I've never had so many clients travel to meet me. And I don't think it's just about people wanting to travel after COVID. It's also it has a lot to do with the fact that it's difficult to do business without meeting and greeting. We are social animals at the end of the day, and especially learning, right? How do you learn? We learn by imitating. We look at a person who we kind of think of as our role model, and we imitate that person. So really, and that's not happening. In fact, I'm seeing so many people for the first time physically. I see, wow, man, this person looks completely different in person than from when I was looking at that person, kind of
Virtual.
on camera, yeah, virtually, right? So I think it's a sort of, and to be honest, it's like, some companies might be able to figure it out, but I think as of now, we really need to go back to office, get sorted, get our things in order, and then maybe come back. And anyway, just to close the thread, I think the last point was that it was just unfair to very a lot some people. Right? There are like always some people who'll find a loophole in the system, and understand that because it's there, and there are certain people who are, like, there are some people in the company who are just like literally working from 7 a.m. in the morning to 11 p.m. at night, because
Yeah.
they don't know when to stop, right? And they're getting burnt out. It's important for them to understand that, guys, come to office so that you have like a fixed working hour. Like, if you remember when COVID kind of just started out, right, and work from home started out, the first thing that happened was like people were working for eight, not 8 hours a day, but 12, 14, 15 hours a day, because they didn't know, like, what was the boundary, right? And some
True.
people are still in that mode, right? So it's also like creating a lot more burnout, a lot more mental health issues for people. And yeah, I mean, I think that's the reason why we're going back to work from uh, office. And the only exception is, parents with the young children who don't go to schools. So we are obviously, going to make an exception for them. And there are obviously, going to be some people who have always been remote and they'll be remote. But by and large, as a company, we'll be moving to work from office. And yeah, we'll move to a cluster office structure where we'll probably have more than one offices to make sure that that people don't need to travel quite a lot. But yeah, that's like an evolving situation. So
Yeah,
so
that's
that's,
great.
I
And I
think,
think apart from productivity, it's good for mental health also, because you kind of gel with your colleagues and, things like that, chit
yeah.
chatting and all of that.
Yeah, I think, if you, I mean, my thinking is that, the best remedy to mental health is actually chit chatting with people. It's like, yeah, I definitely think that it's going to have an impact. People might feel that it's a little, tough coming back to office, when you have to get back into, like, nobody wants to go back to school after vacations, right? But
Right.
if you think about it, like some of our best memories in our life are not really of vacations but of school, right? So I think sometimes we have to take a decision. For a lot of people, they might not like it, in the, like, who likes the parent who wakes kids up in the morning, right? But when they
True.
grow up, that's like one of the best habits, to grow up early, to wake up early, and to go to bed early at night. So I think
Yeah.
we have to do a little bit of parenting in some cases, and I guess that's what we are doing.